Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining me again on a video tutorial. You're tuning in with Mandy Depiazzi, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Bunbury in Western Australia. Today's video is part of the Enjoy the Little Things in Life video blog hop team, where we are showing anything from the new holiday catalogue, which goes on sale to customers on the 5th of September 2018. So here is the card that I'm going to show you today how to make. I used the beautiful First Frost stamp set, and I used some of the framelits from the matching bundle. Purchase them together and you'll save 10%, which is always a good way to go. So let's get started. I've got a piece of Blackberry Bliss, which I have just cut in half at 5 7/8 of an inch. That's the Australian measurements there of cardstock, and I have just scored it at 4 1/8 of an inch. In this card I've used the subtle embossing folder. I'm not sure if you can see it terribly well on the camera, but it just gives a little bit of texture to the card. So I'm just going to run it through using the subtle embossing folder. So now I am going to do a little technique which is quite new to me, but probably not new to a lot of others. Stampin' Up! Has reintroduced their shimmer paint. It comes in 4 different colours. There's white, champagne, copper and gold. I have the champagne mist here, which I've put a few drops into a Stampin' spritzer, and I've also filled it with icicle rubbing alcohol, which you can get from just your local supermarket. Just going to give that a shake up, and I'm just going to spray this on my card. It just creates a bit of sparkle, and who doesn't like sparkle? And the reason why we use rubbing alcohol instead of the water is it just tends to dry quicker. So I don't know if you can pick this up on the camera, but it's added bits of sparkle, and you probably, I can see it on this card, but I don't know how well you can see it through the camera, but it just adds a little bit of shine. So now that we've done that, we can set this aside because we're going to get onto our stamping. Okay, so I have pre-cut a few things just to save time for today's video. This is using the dies, these dies here. I have cut the Whisper White piece with the thin die, and I've cut the Tranquil Tide outline with the thicker die. Okay, so I just pre-cut those just to save on some time for today's video. Now we're going to stamp the sentiment and the little flower and leaves around the outside. So I'm using Tranquil Tide for my sentiment, wishing you all the best. And just centralize it as best as you can. It's pretty good. And I used this stamp here for the little bits of the leaves, so you don't need much on there because we're just going to stamp it like that. Something like that. And then I'm going to get my the little sized flower. And what I'm going to do is I've got Blushing Bride here. So I'm just going to stamp it all over in Blushing Bride, but then I'm going to get Blackberry Bliss, which is the colour of my cardstock. and I'm just going to get my sponge dauber and just darken it up a little bit, just to create a bit of a two-tone look. And there we are. So that will be our sentiment, and while we're here we will stamp our larger sized rose. Darken up the edges a bit. Something like that. Okay. Now the next thing is to cut out our leaves. I have pre-cut some just to save some time for today's video, but I have one Tranquil Tide one that I need to cut. So I'll just demonstrate how I did that. Okay, magnetic platform, plate down below, cardstock and die, plate on top, and then crank it through. And there's our leaves. So now all that's left to do is pretty much put our card together. So bring back your piece that you had placed out of the way, drying with your shimmer mist. Okay, just find some tape and start putting it together. And you can layer it up however you like. Bring my card back in so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Now we'll bring back in our sentiment. It's a really pretty set, this one, and for a range of occasions. I put this one on dimensionals, but before you do that, actually, it's best to layer up your leaves. So pick a side, add a bit of tape or your favourite adhesive, and layer up your leaves. I find it's easier to layer up your leaves first and then put your dimensionals on. Okay, so we've got to cut out our flower, which I had forgotten to do. So let's just go do that now. So let's get layering. We just need our dimensionals to the back. Okay, don't do what I did and forget your ribbon. Ribbon is important. This is the really beautiful velvet ribbon in Tranquil Tide. So I'm just going to see if I can poke it. Everything's fixable. just going to see if I can poke that in. So just try and get that in there somehow. I think it's an okay save. All right, and we just need some pearls. Oops. Gee, I'm having a good day today. That one landed who knows where. Okay. Just get some little ones and some big ones. Oh, lost another one. A little bit fiddly, a little bit messy. There we go. And a big one and a little one in the opposite corner. So there's our card. Ultimately, before you send it to anybody, you would piece a piece of Whisper White card in the middle. But that is essentially our card done. I don't think it matters that I forgot the ribbon after all. I managed to fix it up. So there you go. That's our beautiful first frost in the holiday catalogue. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more, please tune in next month. Thanks, guys. Bye.